The following is a presentation of the Game Time Sports Network. From the campus of Motlow State Community College in beautiful Tullahoma, Tennessee. This is Motlow State Bucks men's basketball. And now it's game time. Yes, indeed, folks, it is game time. I'm Jay Harper along with Scott Chasteen, Game Time Sports Network. We've got another dandy lined up here for you as the Jackson State men's basketball team visiting here at Copperweld Arena at Nisbett Center on the campus of Motlow State. The Bucks and the Greenjays going at it here. The Greenjays, they've had a little bit of a rough start to the conference season. They're 0-4 in the TCCAA. They are 2-4 overall. Coach Cameron Cates, the head coach here, assisted by Bubba Cates. The losses for Jackson State at the hands of Cleveland State, Dyersburg State, Chattanooga State, and Columbia State. The Bucks, they are 1-3 in the conference, 3-4 overall. Their lone conference win up against Pellissippi State, they have lost to Columbia State, Volunteer State, and Roan State. And the Bucks, they are led by Coach Justin Newman along with Nick Parker.
Number 15, Tariq Stevens. Number 22, Teddy, the Aaron of their word.
So the lineups being announced. And of course, we will be getting to the players as the game progresses. As the teams prepare to get out on the floor, and the opening tip, Sagna Osoinu will be up against Donovan Ballou, number 13. The Greenjays in the solid green jerseys and the Bucks in the grays. As we're going to do a do-over on the tip-off here. And coming up with it, the Bucks. And bringing it down the floor, Kenai Johnson, who finds Stevens. And now it's Tayden Ware takes his shot. But rebound, Phillips for the Greenjays. As Dallas Berkeley brings it down now for Jackson State. He's from Collierville, Tennessee. Cooper Law with the ball, now finding Phillips once again and working it around the perimeter and taking the jumper is the first score of the game from Dallas Berkeley, a 6-foot freshman guard for Coach Cates. Stevens finding Johnson now, back over to Stevens in the far corner. Xavier Farrell, number 23, out of Tullahoma High, on the floor for the Bucks. So he's pretty well playing at home. A local boy. Here is Farrell with the jumper, and it's good. as we're even up at a couple apiece here as we are just getting started with this TCCAA conference game. And a little shake and bake to get past Farrell is Phillips. And that shot attempt by Lull does not go. Rebound Ware gets it over to Farrell, and his shot doesn't fall. Rebound Greenjays, and Phillips lays it in to make it 4-2 Jackson State. Stevens lofts it over to Tayden Ware. Now Farrell takes the shot off the front of the rim. Rebound Phillips. And here's Jackson Jones with an easy layup to make it 6-2 Jackson State. Kenai Johnson now to Tayden Ware. Farrell gets called for an extra step. LaKendrick Phillips out of Brownsville, Tennessee, inbounds it as the shot taken by Jackson Jones. The first three-pointer we've seen, and already Coach Newton has had enough. He wants to go ahead and chat things over with a 30-second timeout. Just kind of slow things down here with 17:32 to go. Just getting started here with this conference matchup. Our next live stream for Bucks basketball is going to be on December 6th, so a couple of weeks away as we get past Thanksgiving. Southwest Tennessee will be the opponent on December 6th here from Tullahoma, Tennessee. This is Josh Griffith in the game now for the Bucks. Number 0, Josh out of Atlanta. And he finds Snipe. Snipe shot does not fall. Jabayan Snipe is a freshman out of Brownsville, Tennessee. LaKendrick Phillips for the Greenjays. He too from Brownsville. Both of them going to Haywood High, so I'm sure they know one another pretty well. Bringing it down and dishing it off was Lull, trying to get it to Jones. But the Bucks having something to say about it. Snipe taking his three-point attempt off the back of the rim. And there is number 25, Colton Wilbanks. Phillips being guarded by Wilbanks. And a little move from Dallas Berkeley, number 11. And Berkeley will now inbound it for Jackson State. Gets it over to Jones. And Jackson Jones, well, we've got a travel call. Wilbanks inbounding it as Josh Griffith brings it down the floor. And he's greeted by Dallas Berkeley. Now here is Snipe. Back over to Griffith. And the alley and the oop as Colton Wilbanks stuffs it in for 2 for Motlow State. (16-13) remaining in this first half as Wilbanks will now inbound it. Colton, a sophomore forward from Gainesville, Georgia. His grandmother, a watcher of the stream. So sending kudos out to Granny Joe. As Phillips brings it down now, and Granny Joe's grandson chasing Phillips, and that shot just a bit off the mark. And here is Colton now as Wilbanks feeds it over to Griffith, who finds Snipe in the far corner. Back over to Griffith. A little short. And rebound, Donovan Ballou. And a nice fast break from Cooper Lowell. Cooper Lowell is out of Robinson, Illinois, a 6'5" sophomore. Bryson Johnson in the game, number 21 for the Bucks. As Wilbanks is denied, I believe he gets the foul. And he does, as Donovan Ballou called for the infraction. Donovan's out of Lexington High and Lexington, Tennessee, a 6'6" freshman. Wilbanks, a 55.2% shooter from the free throw line. $15:20 left in this first half. Kenai Johnson about ready to check in for Coach Newton as Berkeley races down the floor, pulls up, and the 10-foot jumper does not happen. Here's Griffith now. Way downtown, and that shot is short. Rebound Johnson, and that shot is on the mark. Nothing short about that from Jabayan Snipe, a three-point shot. Berkeley pulling up with Wilbanks. Guarding him, Colton with the height advantage. Cooper Lowell gets it now to Ron Brisbane. Brisbane, number 21 from Jackson, Tennessee. Haywood High. That in and out. The Bucks down by only one with 14:27 remaining in the first half. We now have a free throw attempt from Joshua Burchett. Joshua out of Memphis, 6'5" sophomore. And the lefty can't connect on the first attempt. Johnson checks out and Johnson checks in. As Kenai Johnson checking in, Bryson checking out. There are three players on this Motlow State team with the surname of Johnson. Kenai Johnson with the ball now. Nice bounce pass. Inside to Warfield. Tristan Warfield, number 32 in the game. We are tied up now at a dozen apiece. Cooper Lowell getting it now to Berkeley inside. And getting denied is Donovan Ballou. Racing down the floor is Griffith. Josh pulls up for the three-pointer. Nothing there. Wilbanks. He came in an effort to grab the offensive rebound. Burchett racing down the floor with Kenai on him. Now over to Berkeley. And the pass can't be collected by Chris Mitchell. So Kenai Johnson ends up with it. Gets it inside now to Warfield. And out of play. three-point attempt. Not there. Will Banks with the offensive rebound. Colton, he finds Farrell. Now over to Kanai. Shot clock winding down. Will Banks with the shot. Nothing there. Cooper Law will inbound things. Berkeley, Dallas Berkeley. Being guarded by Snipe. Berkeley just zooms right past him. Dishes it off now to Chris Mitchell, who connects to make it 14-12. Kanai gets it to Farrell. Now back over to Kanai Johnson. Try to get that pass over to Warfield. He just could not quite connect there. .20 left in the first half. And, posting up, but the goal disallowed. Ron Brisbane, 21, being chased by 21 as Bryson Johnson for the Bucks, guarding his number one counterpart, but gets called for the foul, so Brisbane will step to the line with those flaming red shoes. 12-12 left to go in this first half. 14-12. Jackson State on top. And Brisbane's first attempt does not fall. Ron's not had that many opportunities at the line. 1 for 5 at the free throw line coming into today. And can't connect either one as Bryson Johnson hauls in that rebound. And the attempted pass over to Farrell knocked out of play by Brisbane. Number of players on both squads out of Haywood High. Brisbane being one of them. Giving it inside now to Ware. And the shot attempt by Trey Terry, number 3, who's in the game now, was no good. Cooper Lowell as the pick is set by Mitchell. Cooper getting it to Burchett. And Burchett, he draws the foul. It is called on Osenyu. Burchett through shooting 51.5% from the line. He makes good on the first attempt. In for Osenyu is Stevens. Terica Stevens from Somerville High. He's a 6'7" freshman. And that shot good on the free throw attempt. As Terry brings it down, gets it over to Ware, who finds Bryson. Bryson looking for help, finds it with Terry. Now back over to Bryson Johnson. Stevens gets it to Terry. And Terry's shot over 2 much taller defenders is good. But the big, long, fast break pass, and the shot is good as Burchett answers. Stevens now has it knocked out of his hand. Stevens will make his free throw attempts. 75% from the line on this young season, and he makes good there. Jackson Jones subbing now for Cooper Law. Jackson out of Memphis went to St. George's High School. Jones is a freshman. Exactly 11 minutes to play in this first half. Ware with the offensive rebound and makes good. So instead of 1 point, they get a couple. Off of the Ware play by Tayden Ware. Brisbane being double teamed. And now it's Jones. Jackson back inside to Burchett. Number 10 with Tayden Ware all over him. And the pass trying to get it to Mitchell is intercepted by the Bucks. Terry finds Tayden Ware. Ware's pass trying to get it over to Stevens, and just a little too much traffic. Bucks coach Newton pleading a case of some sort with one of the officials. Again, it's 21 being guarded by 21. Bryson Johnson on Ron Brisbane. Brisbane for the Greenjays. His fadeaway, not there. Rebound Stevens. Trey Terry bringing it down. Farrell back over to Terry. And now Bryson Johnson going baseline, feeding it back out now to Farrell. Savior shot does not go. Jones giving it to Brisbane. Ron drifting down now and finds LaKendrick Phillips and gives a surprise pass over to Chris Mitchell. Mitchell's eyes got real huge when that ball started drifting his way on the pass. I don't think he was expecting that, but he draws a foul, so he'll step to the line now with his team up by 1. 9:37 to play in half number 1. And just about a total replacement of all players here as Will Banks, Griffith, along with Warfield, Snipe, and Kenai Johnson now all in the game for Coach Newton and the Bucks. Kenai Johnson gets it to Josh Griffith. Now back over to Kenai. A little pitch and catch between the two. Snipe almost lost the ball. Josh thinking about a shot, sees an inside lane, gets it over to Snipe, who gets it to Warfield. Warfield trying to get in the paint, and he draws the foul. LaKendrick Phillips called. Kenai feeding it to Josh Griffith with Jackson Jones on him, and Griffith. A nice, easy lay-in. Well, I say easy. It wasn't that simple, as Jackson Jones was all over him and fouled him. 9:07 to go as the Bucks can even things up here. If Griffith can make this shot, well, I guess I jinxed it. Exactly 9 minutes to play in the first half. Burchett giving it over to Phillips. Now back to Phillips. Taking it by himself, weaving in the traffic, and a nice, pretty move. Makes it 22-19. Will Banks. Over to Griffith, back over to Snipe. Now Kenai Johnson, the three-pointer is good. Swish. That ties us at 22. Feeding it now to Burchett. Burchett's shot is short. A short shot from Burchett. Snipe races down. Finds Wilbanks in the far corner. And Jabayan gets it over to Josh Griffith. Now Colton goes to the paint. Jones swipes it away, but Colton able to retain possession. Finds Snipe in the near corner. Nothing there. Big long pass over to Jones, who in turn gets it to Dallas Berkeley. And yeah, a full timeout from Coach Newton as he wants to hash things out with the squad. Jay Harper, Game Time Sports Network, along with Scott Chastain, will step aside briefly. It's Jay Harper. Join me and Nashville radio legend John Bozeman, known as Johnny B, as we gab about all things radio, entertainment, and music in the Circling the Drain podcast. We share stories and experiences from our more than 90 combined years of being in the biz. Yeah, we're old. Come along for the ride. You never know where it may take you. It's the Circling the Drain podcast, available every Wednesday morning on all podcast platforms. Jay Harper again with Scott Chastain, joining you from Copperweld. Hello. There's two P's in that, not two O's. It's Copperweld Arena, Nisbett Center, Tullahoma, Tennessee. As we have got a close matchup with 7:41 to play in this first half. The Bucks down by a couple as they bring it down now. Kenai Johnson over to Wilbanks. Colton finds Griffith. Back over to Wilbanks. Little pitch and catch with Josh and Colton. Now in the paint. The left hand does not go for Warfield. Tristan Warfield, listed at 6'8", out of Louisville, Kentucky. He is just a freshman. Warfield now with the ball, trying to post up. And gets his own rebound and ultimately wins the battle with Donovan Ballou defending him well. Coming down the floor is LaKendrick Phillips. Phillips backs away, feeds it over to Cooper Lowell. Lowell finding Jones, who gets it back out on the perimeter. Now Jones, his three-point attempt not there. Wilbanks grabbing the defensive rebound. Kenai Johnson, he sees a three-point shot and buries it. That puts the Bucks up by 3. Surprise Wilbanks didn't get flagged there. And now the Bucks up by 1 after Ballou has the lay-in to make it 27-26. 6:18 to play in the first. Oh, that pass getting away from Griffith. And a costly error as Dallas Berkeley is right there to put the Greenjays back up by 1. Stevens, pretty move, and the score. Stevens from Somerville, Tennessee, a 6'7" freshman. Dallas Berkeley gets it over to Phillips. Now back to Berkeley. Cooper Lowell back to Phillips. LaKendrick, and he draws the foul. I believe Kenai gets called. Taden Ware set to check in for Coach Newton. Actually, 3 Bucks coming in. Warfield, Wilbanks, and Johnson being subbed for by Ware as well as Bryson Johnson and Trey Terry. Trey Terry listed at 5'9". The shortest guy on the floor races down the floor. Gets it to Taden Ware. Ware finds Bryson. Bryson jumping in the paint, gets it to Stevens. Nice execution. That puts the Bucks up by 3 with 5:17 to play in the first half. Taden Ware upsetting the apple cart as he manages to wrestle the ball away. Josh Griffith will inbound it over to Trey Terry. Terry out of Warren County High. From just down I-24 in McMinnville. Now here is Griffith who finds Ware. Now Terry over to Josh Griffith. The alley and the oop. As Ware stuffs it to put the Bucks up by 5. Berkeley racing down, gets his own rebound. And Terry with the flop, but doesn't get the call. And, well, Terry, he gets the foul called on him as Cooper Law steps to the free throw line. Cooper shooting at 80% from the line. As mentioned previously, Cooper Law from Illinois. 6'5" sophomore, Robinson High School, Robinson, Illinois, as he connects for both free throws. The Bucks hanging tough here with a 3-point lead with 4:31 to play. Southwest Tennessee coming to Motlow State for the next live stream here on the Game Time Sports Network for Motlow State basketball. That will happen Saturday, December 6th. Coach Andy Lyon, the Motlow State soccer coach, the TCCAA Coach of the Year in the house. We just waved at one another. The conference champions in ladies soccer as well. Josh Griffith now bringing it down. Nice bounce pass over to Terry. There's Stevens with the jam. 35-30 Bucks. LaKendrick Phillips being chased by Bryson Johnson. Now getting it to Lowell. Cooper in the paint. And can't get that to roll, but there is a, well, I thought Ballou was going to rebound it, but Bryson Johnson ripped it out of his hands. Stevens finding Taden Ware. Ware with the turnaround. Cooper Law making it difficult, but Ware winning. Here comes Law now. Taking it all by himself, and a pretty move, draws the foul. Coach Newton beside himself down on the Motlow State bench. Johnson will check out, and Xavier Farrell from Tullahoma High steps in. 37-22 Bucks with 3:33 left in half number one. pass almost picked off. Ware giving it to Farrell. Farrell in the paint, goes back out to Griffith. Stevens finds Trey Terry. Terry with a jumper. And here's Brisbane to collect it. The shot was short. Brisbane giving it to Phillips. LeKendrick got 3 bucks on him, and he still manages to thread the needle and come up with the bucket to make it 37-34. Trey Terry, he may be the littlest guy on the floor, but boy, his vertical leap is pretty impressive. Phillips now, nice touch, but doesn't go. As Chris Mitchell almost comes up with the rebound. He is fouled on the way up. Mitchell shooting 50% from the line on the year. That puts Jackson State down by 2. Snipe, Warfield, Wilbanks, and Kenai Johnson in the game now for the Bucks. Mitchell sinks both of the free throws. Here comes Kenai with his number 11 for the Greenjays, guarding him. 11 on 11. Snipe giving it over to Farrell. Farrell twisting and turning, finding Johnson. Snipe has it batted away, but ultimately Jabrian comes back up with it, and out of play it goes. 2:04 to play. The Bucks up by just 1. The officials, a confab of some sort here. Coach Cameron Cates was expressing his opinion while the coaches were chatting right in front of, or the officials were chatting right in front of him. Well, Cates rather demonstrative with his disagreement with the officials here at the moment. But play resuming now. Warfield trying to set the pick for Kenai. Now here is Snipe, and it is good. That puts the Bucks up by 4 with 1:46 to go in the first half. Wilbanks grabs that rebound, feeds it over now to Kenai Johnson. Now Kenai gets it back over to Colton. Snipe with the ball in his hands now. The jumper doesn't fall. Brisbane grabs it off the boards. Gets it now over to Berkeley. Berkeley off the dribble. Dallas Berkeley at the free throw line with 1:12. Berkeley, a 61.9% free throw shooter, and he makes 100% of the 2. And we've got a full timeout call from Jackson State. Jay Harper, Game Time Sports Network, joined by my pal Scott Chastain. You'll be hearing Scott on some future calls here on the Game Time Sports Network. Many of you, of course, here in this Tullahoma area certainly know Mr. Chastain, who has been a mainstay on the airways for athletics in these here parts for probably longer than he'd care to admit. He, like me, has got about 4 decades in on this kind of insanity. But we're gluttons for punishment, you know? I mean, it's you kind of become addicted to such things. A minute 12 to play as the Bucks find themselves up by a couple. And Coach Newton has the whiteboard out and being rather demonstrative with his suggestions, shall we say. Kanai Johnson looking for some help. Gets it back over to Ware, who in turn gets it to Snipe. Now Johnson. We're under a minute to play in the first half. Stevens with the ball at the top of the arc. Shot clock down to 6. And trying to get it off and gets the shot away, but not a very good one. And the rush shot trying to beat the shot clock. A little shake and bake move from Berkeley. Now over to Brisbane. Run feeds it back to Berkeley. Game clock at 19, shot clock at 7, and 2 points, courtesy of Chris Mitchell from Boulevard, Tennessee, a 6'7" freshman. Warfield finds Stevens. Stevens! How about that? Terica Stevens buries a three-pointer right at the buzzer. And that puts the Bucks up by 3 as both teams now head to the locker room at the half. So we will step aside for roughly 14-15 minutes at the intermission. We invite you to hang with us for what will surely be an exciting second half on the Game Time Sports Network. It's Jay Harper. Join me and Nashville radio legend John Bozeman, known as Johnny B, as we gab about all things radio, entertainment, and music in the Circling the Drain podcast. We share stories and experiences from our more than 90 combined years of being in the biz. Yeah, we're old. Come along for the ride. You never know where it may take you. It's the Circling the Drain podcast, available every Wednesday morning on all podcast platforms. We are just a little over a minute away from getting this second half underway from Copperweld Arena in the Nisbett Center at Motlow State. Again, Jay Harper along with Scott Chastain as the Bucks up by 3. Some college football today. Vanderbilt up 31-3 in the third quarter over Kentucky. Of course, Tennessee, they play later on this evening as they will be down in Florida. You know, even though Florida 3-7 on the year, playing down there, playing Florida at Florida, never an easy task for anybody. So hopefully they don't get ambushed down there. But the Vols at 7-3, ranked 20th. That a 6:30 kickoff. Texas, they're leading Arkansas 31-20. They're in the third quarter. Notre Dame is destroying Syracuse 56-0. They're in the third quarter. And Oregon over USC, that would be Southern Cal, 28-14. They are in the third quarter. As play resumes, Dallas Berkeley taking it down the floor for the Greenjays. Being guarded by Kenai Johnson. Jones's three-point attempt, not there. Rebound Bucks as Tayton Ware gets it to Kenai. Kenai, beautiful bounce pass into Farrell. 45-40 now. Cooper Law. Now it's Jones with the ball. Bounce pass into Donovan Ballou. Now here's Phillips. LeKendrick with an athletic move. Mercy getting that shot to fall. Farrell now has Lull, and Farrell hanging with it, but can't get the shot to go. Phillips carries it down for the Greenjays as Stevens providing the Bucks defense. Nice spin move, pull-up jumper, doesn't go. Rebound Bucks. Kenai feeding it now to Ware, who gets it over to Stevens. Finding Farrell all alone. The three-pointer just a bit short, but he gets his own rebound and draws the foul. Phillips gets flagged. Bryson Johnson about ready to check in for Coach Newton. Xavier Farrell up to the line. Farrell shooting 58.3% thus far this season at the free throw line. And he's good for both as Stevens will check out. And Bryson Johnson from Fayetteville, Tennessee, will take his place. Cooper Law being double teamed. He gets it over to Phillips, however. LeKendrick's pass intended for Donovan Ballou, but had a little too much on it. Down the floor comes Kenai Johnson. Xavier Farrell feeding it inside. And are they going to gap? He took an extra step there. The defense creating that turnover. Phillips inbounding it to Dallas Berkeley. Berkeley zooming through, passing everybody, but there is Oseinu with the rejection. Berkeley, here's Jones with that three-point attempt, and he buries it. That's the second three-pointer for Jackson Jones, freshman from Memphis. Bryson Johnson gets it over to Tayden Ware, and Ware knocks down the bucket. 45-49 with the Bucks on top. Jones has an outside game and an inside game. Jackson Jones lifts it at 6'4". Trying to post up is Oseinu, and he does, and is successful with his shot at 17 minutes to play in the game. And that was a quick answer from Dallas Berkeley. Tayden Ware from Gainesville, Georgia, number 22. Bringing it down. And now Ware with the ball in his hands. Gets it to Farrell. And looking at the three-point line, but not able to make the shot. Ware has the ball stripped away. Berkeley, and there is Lowe. An easy shot off the glass, and they also call a foul. So we're tied up at 51. And a chance now for the Greenjays to go ahead. Kenai Johnson called for the foul. He's asking the referee, so what'd you see there? So Kenai Johnson and Bryson Johnson and Farrell will sit down for a bit as Griffith, Wilbanks, and Stevens come into the game for Coach Newton. After Lowell is fouled, he goes to the line, a chance to put the Greenjays ahead. And it rolls around. Wilbanks grabs it off the glass. Here's Josh Griffith. Griffith getting it to Ware, who finds Wilbanks. Wilbanks back over to Griffith, trying to get it inside, and does. Wilbanks breaking for the basket and makes the basket. Jones, athletic move. Here's Lowell, and yes, he buries the three-pointer. That puts the Greenjays up, and we have got a Greenjays timeout. And it's a 30-second timeout. Well, as expected, we definitely have continued with an outstanding game. The first half concluded with the Bucks on top. Now the Greenjays find themselves ahead by 1 with just under 16 minutes to go here in this second half. Stevens will inbound it, gets it over to Josh Griffith. Now here's Wilbanks, back over to Griffith. Colton finds Snipe, who's in the game now, with a bounce pass over to Stevens. And inside, and the shot puts the Bucks up by 1 now. Phillips loses his footing on what apparently is a slippery floor. And the short alley-oop that Wilbanks connects on. Kendrick Phillips finds Aiden Welch, number 23. Aiden just entering the game for the first time. Welch, a 5'9" freshman from Henderson, Tennessee. Wilbanks finding Griffith. Stevens thinking about a shot, but then gets it inside to Wilbanks, who finds Snipe. And, oh goodness, as Osenyu's shot just did not want to go in. Welch finds Jones. And Welch back over to Lowell. Cooper looking for some help. Gets it to Phillips. Phillips now an acrobatic move, but has it stripped away, and Wilbanks ends up with it. Colton bringing it down. Feeding it off to Griffith now. Snipe with Welch on him. Inside to Osenyu, and he says, thank you very much. I'll take this jam to make it 59-54. Jones feeding it into Donovan Ballou, number 13. Here's Phillips, pulls up at about 10 feet and knocks it down. 13:20 to play. Griffith getting it to Snipe. He thought about trying a long three-pointer. Jones gets called for the foul. Coming in now for the Bucks is Ware and Warfield, as Osenyu and Bryson Johnson, or pardon me, Stevens comes in. Josh Griffith, and that shot just short. Tatum Ware chasing down Brisbane. Ron Brisbane, number 21 in the game for Coach Cates. Brisbane being guarded by Ware. Ware snaps it away. The steal. And the jam. That puts the Bucks up by 5 with 12:42 to play. So apparently somebody must have got teed up, I guess. As Josh Griffith is coming to the line to take some shots here. Cameron Cates, the head coach for the Greenjays, is having a rather animated conversation with one of the officials. It's not angry, but just, well, animated. 12:42 to play as Griffith will take another shot here. A 7-point lead for the Bucks after Griffith sinks those technical foul shots. Just pure speculation on my part, but after Taden Ware had the dunk, the jam shot, perhaps somebody got a little animated for Jackson State, and the refs, in an attempt to keep things fairly civil, calling the tee so that things didn't get out of hand. Here comes Taden Ware now. 12:30 to play in this game. Snipe, and has his pass to Griffith, batted away. But ultimately, though, it was last touch by Griffith. Berkeley now pulling up, giving it to Brisbane. Ron pulls up at about 12 feet and knocks it down to make it 63-58. Griffith being guarded by Berkeley, and guarded well. Griffith finding Snipe. Snipe back over to Griffith, and off his knee, the pass not able to be handled. Rebound, Wilbanks. Gets it back over to Ware, who will bring it down as Brisbane's on him. And Brisbane gets called for a reach-in. Stevens and Terry subbing now for Griffith and Wilbanks for Motlow State. Snipe asking Ware to come in to set the pick. Now Ware with the ball gets it over to Wilbanks. Wilbanks knocks down the three-pointer. An 8-point lead for the Bucks. We're almost halfway through this second half. Brisbane tees up and gets the fortuitous roll. And we have a timeout. I'm Jay Harper. Thank you for joining us. Scott Chastain alongside. You will be hearing Scott on the December 6th call when Southwest Tennessee comes here to Motlow State. The Salukis always put up a tough battle. Again, that's, well, I guess December 6th would be a couple of weeks away. The Saturday after Thanksgiving. I know, hard to believe that we're in the holiday season already. But here we are. Thanksgiving Day, just a few days away. 11:05 left to play. Stevens will inbound it. Gets it over to Trey Terry. Terry, in turn, gives it right back to Stevens, with Brisbane on him. Warfield finds Farrell. Now here's Kenai Johnson. Back over to Farrell. Beautiful bounce pass over to Terry, but he just can't get it to fall. Lowell now delivers it to Berkeley. Berkeley. And here's Brisbane. His shot off the mark. Kenai Johnson grabs it. Fires it over to Terry. Trey finds Stevens. And a three-point shot rattles around, but it ultimately finds the net. 69-61 coming up on the halfway point for the second half. And a little pull-up jumper from Berkeley puts them 2 points closer. Berkeley gets called for a foul. Farrell with the inbound, gets it to Terry. Now in Kenai Johnson's hands with Lowell on defense following Johnson. Farrell, the big tall freshman, can't get that jumper to go. Brisbane collects the defensive rebound. Beautiful bounce pass. Joshua Burchett draws the foul. And Farrell gets the foul call. Snipe waiting to check in. Terry and Warfield will take a break as Snipe and Osenu are now in the game. And that free throw, good. .11 being guarded by 11. Giving it inside, and the jam by the tallest dude in the game, Osenu Sagna. 6'11" out of Senegal. He is a long way from the house. Dallas Berkeley, his first attempt, not successful. Dallas, a 6-foot freshman, Southwind High School. Farrell gets collided with by Brisbane, who gets called for a foul. Farrell inbounding it. Bounce pass over to Snipe, who in turn gets it to Stevens. Back over to Jabayan. And banking it off the glass for another 2 points. 73-64, up by 9 are the Bucks. Berkeley being guarded by Johnson. Berkeley electing to take it himself. And the rebound. They've got a scrum and 2 thumbs up from the ref. So the Bucks will inbound it. Stevens finding Snipe. Jabayan gets over to Farrell. Osenu, spin move, has it swatted away. Cooper Lowell comes up with it. Oh, goodness, he certainly hit the deck hard there. Almost sounded like his head hit the floor. He seems to be okay. He will approach the free throw line now, as the Green Jays are down by 9 with 8:16 left to play. one of the better free throw shooters for Coach Cates. Not able to connect there. And does so there, however. Kenai Johnson bringing it down, gets it over to Stevens. Farrell with the pull-up. Nothing there. Phillips grabs it off the board and has his pass swatted away by Farrell. The guys on the front row almost got a face full of Farrell as he went up into the stands. Brisbane now inside to Chris Mitchell. Mitchell back over to Brisbane with the pull-up jumper. A little bit short. Johnson retrieving it for the Bucks. Gets it to Stevens. Kenai Johnson gets it to Stevens. Nice spin move and a nice soft touch as he just gently lays it in to put the Bucks up by 10. Phillips gets his feet tangled. And Kenai Johnson gets called for the feet tanglement. Colton Wilbanks and Josh Griffith coming in for Stevens and Kenai Johnson. And Tayden Ware, he also subbing. Berkeley with the bounce inbound pass. Gets it to Burchett, who got fouled on that. 7:15 to go as the Bucks up by 10, but that could be shaved off a bit if the free throws are successful here. And the lefty puts it in. Wilbanks grabbing the rebound. And Josh Griffith bringing it down now. Tayden Ware all by himself off the front of the rim. A little housekeeping here to take care of a slick spot on the floor. Griffith giving it to Ware, who goes right back to Josh. Farrell to Wilbanks. Wilbanks dishing it off to Snipe, who gets it to Tayden Ware. Ware, the big man, trying to post up, can't do it. Josh Griffith is there. His shot no good. There's Wilbanks, and he draws the foul. Colton, 6'6" sophomore, Gainesville, Georgia, is his home. And he's good for both. Dallas Berkeley brings it down for the Greenjays. His shot attempt, no good, but in all that traffic with the much taller players, he managed to come up with his own rebound. Now here's Phillips. His shot off the mark. Griffith makes his way down the floor. Now here is Snipe bringing it down across the way. The ball back in Griffith's hands as he is trailed by Berkeley. Now Snipe thought about a three-pointer, takes a step. His shot is short. Burchett, he brings it down now with Tayden Ware providing the Bucks defense. And the steal from Snipe. Jabayan, he capitalizes to make it 79-66 with 5 minutes, 40 seconds to play. As we have a 30-second timeout, as Coach Justin just wants to chat things over a bit with the Bucks crew. Notre Dame football destroying Syracuse. There are about 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, 70-0. Vanderbilt, they have just started the fourth quarter. Vanderbilt football leading Kentucky 45-10. Berkeley finding Lowell. Cooper gets it. Over to Burchett, and now back over to Berkeley. And we got a foul away from the ball. As Osenu is called. Warfield will sub for him. So Tristan back in the game. Tristan out of Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville. Got to say that right. Louisville. Donovan Ballou, the free throw shooter for the Greenjays. 5:24 to play. Off the back of the rim, Tayden Ware grabs it and feeds it over to Griffith. Now back to Ware, who finds Wilbanks, and another whistle away from the ball. And I believe Ballou gets flagged. That will send Wilbanks to the line. Tristan shot, no good. Rebound Burchett. Now here's Berkeley. Low. Cooper off now to Phillips. LeKendrick gets it back over to Burchett. Now Phillips with it. Drives baseline. And up under the bucket. Nice pretty move for the 2 points. And we got a full timeout now called by Cleveland State. Cleveland State. Good grief. Hello. Yes, we do handle Cleveland State sports, but they ain't here. Jackson State with the timeout call. We will be at Cleveland State on December 3rd for Cleveland State basketball. Cleveland State at the moment. Speaking of them, they are playing at Columbia State today. The women were defeated by Columbia State 65-50, and the men, and that Winston Neal's team for Columbia State. I mean, that dude, Coach Neal, he just reloads, man, every year. The conference champions from last season, they are up on Cleveland State 65-30 with about 12 minutes to go in the second half. Here's Griffith now, getting it over to Snipe. And Jabayan feeding it to Wilbanks. Here is Warfield. His shot off the back of the rim. Ware with all kinds of traffic under the basket. And he gets called for a travel. You know, when you got guys knocking into you, pretty easy to take an extra step just to keep from being knocked over. Phillips to Berkeley, who in turn finds Brisbane. Ron with a nice bounce pass back over to Berkeley. And his fadeaway not there, but the follow-up nicely done by Phillips to make it 79-70 with exactly 4 minutes to go. Berkeley swatting that pass away. Bryson Johnson in the game now. As Snipe will have a seat, and Wilbanks also checks out as Stevens in the game. Bryson Johnson gets it over to Griffith, and his shot for naught. 3:43 to play with a 9-point lead for Motlow State. Plenty of time here, though, for anything to happen. Saying you subbing for Wilbanks. Here's Berkeley. Brisbane. Burchett gets it over to Lowell. Now Berkeley. Back over to Brisbane. And he gets popped in the face. So Brisbane will take his free throws. Kenai Johnson checking into the game as Griffith will get to towel off. Ware grabs the rebound. Feed it to Johnson. Now Kenai getting it from one Johnson to another. Oh, and tripping. Dosenyu hitting the deck and grabbing his lower back as he fell to the floor. That is a tall young man, 6'11". And boy, he looks every bit of that. And his first free throw successful. Gets the lucky bounce to put the Bucks up by 11. Phillips with Bryson Johnson there. And Phillips, he draws the foul. Sagna gets called for the foul. Now Warfield will come back in for him. 3:05 to go. Bryson Johnson checks out as Farrell in the game. Phillips sinks that, and here comes Tayden Ware as he's greeted by Burchett. Now, Kenai Johnson, Warfield setting the pick. Back over to Farrell. Farrell charging toward the bucket. Can't quite get enough on that shot. Warfield and Brisbane duking it out for possession. Will Banks will check in for Warfield. Colton with a good game here today. He has really shined on the rebound portion of his game. Brisbane tried to get it over to Lowell, but Wilbanks swatted it away and put it in the hands of Stevens. Now here's Kenai Johnson giving it to Stevens and rolling around and ultimately finding the basket at 2:21 to play. The Bucks up by 10. Berkeley's pretty well mauled as he is up under the basket as Farrell and Stevens were there to greet him. Josh Griffith checking in for Kenai Johnson. Berkeley's free throws, good. We are coming up on 2 minutes left to play. Tayden Ware has it stripped by Berkeley. Berkeley pulls up, waits for the crew to join him. Lowell with a three-point attempt. Brisbane comes up with the rebound, and he is fouled as Farrell is flagged. A minute 54 to play. Just an 8-point differential now. Snipe checks in for Farrell. Brisbane can't connect on either free throw shot, so the differential remaining at 8. Berkeley gets called for the foul. That will bring Josh Griffith to the line. Under 2 minutes to play, a minute 45. Griffith getting one of two as Coach Newton asked for a full timeout. As the Bucks now up by 9 with 1:45 to play. We mentioned that we will be at Cleveland State on December 3rd. Well, guess who they play? The Motlow State Bucks. So you will get a chance to see an away game here on the Game Time Sports Network. That will be a 4:30 Central Time start on that Wednesday. And a 7 for the women's game. And, of course, a couple hours later, the men's scheduled to go after it. 7:30 start. So it's Motlow State, Cleveland State on December 3rd. And we'll have it for you on the Game Time Sports Network. Berkeley picking it up after it rolls a bit. Phillips finding Lowell. Moving the ball around here. Cooper teeing it up for a three. It's short. Caden Ware grabbing the defensive rebound. Oh, my goodness. And on the throws an elbow and gets Berkeley right in the jaw. So I guess they're determining whether to call a flagrant here. So they're saying that in the opinion of one official, claiming that his elbows were not extended to, judgment call. No doubt about the fact that he certainly popped Berkeley in the jaw with his elbow. Ware at the line. Phillips comes in, and he is replaced by Antrell Jones. First time we've seen him, another Haywood High School grad. There's a number of those in this game. Antrell, number 35, setting up in the far corner. Brisbane takes a three-point shot, and boy, buries that one from way downtown. That pulls the Greenjays a bit closer. 7-point differential. So this game being fairly close. You know how it can be with basketball in the waning moments. It can take 20 minutes to play a minute, 18 seconds. Everybody calls timeouts, got to foul everybody. So our next two live streams will feature Motlow State. December 3rd when they are at Cleveland State. And December 6th when Southwest Tennessee comes here. A minute 18 to play now. Stevens will inbound it for the Bucks. Here comes Jabayan Snipe. And the tip, well, they're calling off the bucket. Snipe will take his free throws. Snipe able to extend the lead by 8. Here's Jackson Jones giving it to Berkeley, and he buries that three-pointer. That gets things closer. Snipe now after the pass from Griffith. Jabayan finds Wilbanks all alone to put it in for 2 more for Motlow State. With 53.7 seconds, the Bucks up by 7. And a full timeout call. Both Coach Cates for Jackson State and Coach Newton for Motlow State. Getting the whiteboards out. So Coach Newton confirming that they have one timeout remaining. And telling his guys, do not foul. Under a minute. 7-point lead for the Bucks. Trying to bring this one home to give themselves an even 4-4 record overall. Brisbane now trying a three-pointer. It's short. Rebound Snipe. And he is fouled as Berkeley commits the infraction. 41.7 seconds. That increases the lead to 8. Just off the front of the rim. Racing down the floor is Berkeley. Gets it to Jones, and who tipped it back over to Jones. There's a three-pointer. So we got a full timeout as Motlow State burns their last timeout with 29.3 seconds. The Game Time Sports Network excited to be covering all sports for the Bucks this season, for the 25-26 season. We're going to blink and we're going to be doing softball and baseball come late February. That's the time of year when, you know, I played college baseball, and boy, I remember some of those February games. You know, you're out there in a parka, just Not a great time of year at times to be playing baseball, but it is what it is. And of course, that is the time of year when basketball overlaps with baseball and softball, the seasons. So it's indeed a busy time of year, but we're excited about it. Stevens inbounding it and gets it to Griffith, who's promptly fouled by Aiden Welch. Just 5 points separating these teams here with 28.4 seconds. Griffith, one of the top free throw shooters. And he buries that one. And you know, that's why Coach Newton, one of the reasons he has him in the game, you get your best free throw shooters on the floor. And that puts the Bucks up by 7 as Griffith has the seat and Xavier Farrell comes in. Coach Newton telling his guys not to foul, and what do? They foul. He's not particularly happy at the moment. 27 seconds to go with Dallas Berkeley sinking his first free throw. Farrell comes in. And Coach Newton having a little bit of a discussion with him, albeit calmly. In and out, and there's Will Banks, who is promptly fouled by Chris Mitchell. Will Banks, a good free throw shooter. Attempting to extend the 6-point lead. Coach Kate sending in a couple of his sharpshooters from the three-point line. That would be Jackson Jones and Cooper Lowell. They're in the game now, as Will Banks puts his team up by 7. Berkeley pulls up for a three. Not there. Lowell is there, and he gets the putback. And the inbound pass to Stevens off his hand. So that will put possession over to the Greenjays. Things must really be getting loud in here, as my Apple Watch just went off telling me that the sound level's not safe. The inbound now to Brisbane. Ron with a three-point shot. It's off the mark. Will Banks grabs the rebound. He is promptly fouled. 10.8 seconds on the clock. As Colton will make his way to the line. A 5-point lead. We hope that he can make at least one of these. promptly does. So it's going to take a couple of three-pointers to tie you up. And he sinks both of them. Jones feeding it over to Brisbane. And the pass intercepted by Snipe. And gets it over to Stevens, who drops it in. And 0.9 seconds remaining as the Bucks up 96-87. That will wrap us up. An exciting game. The Bucks coming out on top with the conference victory to now have an overall 500 record at 4-4, 2-3 in the conference. And the hard luck Greenjays, they have got a talented team, but they find themselves 0-5 in the conference and 2-5 overall. So that is your final. It's been a heck of a day of basketball here at the Copperweld Arena at Nisbett Center on the campus of Motlow State. We certainly appreciate you joining us here. We'll be back again on December 3rd with Cleveland State and Motlow State as the Bucks go on the road down to Cleveland, Tennessee. Thanks to Scott Chastain. You'll be hearing Scott on future streams for Motlow State Athletics. We're super stoked to have him aboard the team. So enjoy what's left of the weekend. Until next time, my friends, you stay safe. This has been a production of the Game Time Sports Network.